Hello and welcome to Talk Good Games match preview of West Ham United against Liverpool. Northie, what's your thoughts on Liverpool? Do you think they're going to go on and win the Premier League title?
Yes, 100%. 100. I mean, I can't see any, but there's so many drop points from elsewhere. I mean, this is a really funny Premier League season that I mean, that's why we love the Premier League, because anybody can beat anybody. But this year, it just seems to be going on. So there's so many drop points from the challengers, and Liverpool are just finding a way. And they're not really getting the injuries I think that other teams are having. You know, there's no Saka out, there's no De Bruyne out. You know, there's key players not missing for Liverpool. So I think they are. Well, if they win, what about 8 points clear this early? I mean, it's ridiculous. And they show no signs of stopping up. So, yeah, I can't see anybody else winning it.
Do you think they are doing as well because they're better than the rest, or the rest aren't quite as good? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously Man City have dropped off quite dramatically. But it feels a bit like maybe Arsenal aren't quite up to the standards they have been the last couple of seasons. Chelsea have improved a lot, but they started quite far behind, if you know what I mean. They've improved a lot under Maresca, but there's still another level for them to go, and they're currently the closest challengers they've got, Liverpool. So is it because Liverpool are so good? Is it because the rest of them are just not quite as good?
No, I totally get your point. I think others have dropped and Liverpool haven't. So they haven't. I mean, they've got the new manager come in, but he hasn't really changed anything at Liverpool, because Klopp was building such a good team anyway. I mean, you don't really get that, really. When you're in a new job in most teams, it's because somebody has failed. And so he's been in a very privileged position to walk into a fantastic team anyway. Others have definitely dropped off. But, no one's going to catch them now. No one's going to catch. I think the only thing that could kind of scupper them, I guess, is when it gets a bit closer to the end of the season, they've not sorted out those key contracts for those players. Because, look, they're human. You're looking for your next payday. And if they're like, the Trents, Salah, Van Dijks are all off, I mean, that's three massive players. So that's the only thing where I think it may get rocky towards the end of the season, but I don't think they'll be worried about that just yet.
Yeah, I can't see them not winning the league. I think they're 7 points clear at the minute. Obviously, time of record and Arsenal have yet to play. Ipswich, is it Ipswich they're playing? And then it's Brighton, Brentford. So they haven't played Ipswich as yet, but they've got a game in hand because of the Merseyside derby being postponed due to the storm. But I think there's an element of, I think certainly Man City have dropped off quite a lot, but I do feel like Liverpool have improved since last season. And I think you make a really good point in regards to most managers get a job because the previous one has failed, and that's not necessarily the case at Anfield, just that Klopp decided he was departing. He left a really good squad there. And that's why I got a little bit frustrated with a lot of the neutrals sort of dismissing Liverpool's transfer window a little bit by saying, well, they haven't signed anyone, so it's a bad transfer window. But quantity of players doesn't always equal whether it's a good window or not. Arguably, it's a bad window if you need to sign 10 players. Something's gone seriously wrong at your club already. But the fact that Liverpool didn't have to make any major signings, I think, is testament to the squad they assembled and the work they did the summer before when they completely overhauled that midfield. And I still don't think Jurgen Klopp got enough credit for rebuilding his entire midfield in one summer with the likes of Fabinho and Henderson and Keita and Thiago all departing or stepping back, and then bringing in Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Endo, all coming in, and you're just rebuilding it in one go. I don't think got anywhere near enough credit. I think Slot's really benefited from that bedding in period that new midfield had. I mean, he's changed it because he's put Gravenberch into that holding role, which Klopp didn't have. Gravenberch was possibly the one that didn't impress as much last season. Arguably this season, he's the best one out of the four. So Slot has tweaked it to make it a little bit to make it his team. And when I'm watching them, they're almost perfect. It's really frustrating because they're dangerous on attack. They're solid at the back. They dictate the tempo. In every game I've seen, Liverpool have dictated the tempo. They want to speed it up and they scored against Leicester. I think it was Alisson to the back of the net. There was 3 or 4 passes, went out to Robertson, into McAllister, out to Gakpo, hit the back of the net. Simple. But at the same time, they've just got this calmer demeanour about them that when, again, against Leicester, the 2-goal lead, they were just passing around at the back saying, we don't need to attack anymore. And I'm thoroughly impressed by what Arne Slot has done. Can you see anyone stopping them in European football?
I don't know. I mean, what you just said there is exactly right. I think the balance of that team, when you look at it, they are so well balanced left to right. Something that West Ham are completely unbalanced in many ways. But in terms of Liverpool, I think they've got a really good balance across. And even those kind of players that have stepped up. So you mentioned the midfield there, but players like Curtis Jones, who I've got a friend at work who's a Liverpool fan, season ticket holder, and he was like, Curtis Jones was good, but he didn't work hard enough. But like the work rate now is ridiculous. So players like that, kind of, you would say, not always regular first teamers are really good. And also people like Jota, who's a real fox in the box, deadly player as well. So I think when you're looking into Europe, that's when you need a bigger squad. You need that depth, and I think Liverpool have the depth. I think they can go on and do really good things. They've got the confidence from the Premier League, and that will just carry on. So I think they're the team to beat.
Yeah, I find it difficult to say anything against them at the minute, begrudgingly. I think, it's hard to see them not winning the Premier League title at this point. But I'm not the biggest European fan, so in terms of you were to say, well, how's the league going over in France? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to take an incredible team to stop this Liverpool side. So a little bit of fun then, Mark.
Yeah.
Come the end of the season, what have they won? Prediction time.
Well, I definitely won the Prem. I think they could win. They could win in Europe. I don't know what cup. I don't know domestically. I don't follow them that. If they're out of any of the cups, are they still in all the?
Yeah, still going.
And I think one of the cups. I think he does get quadruple's always ridiculous, but I think I could see them going on doing the treble. I think the one weakness they do have, if I had to pick something out, it's Nunes. I think he's awful. I think he's such a hit and miss player. So if they rely on him, but they've got enough strength where they don't need to, and that's the thing. So I think in the cups he'll play more, and I think he's one of those players that can just. I don't know. Like if a friend of mine says, "Would you take him at West Ham?" And I don't know, because he misses so many opportunities. I mean, he gets loads of opportunities, but his shot to goal ratio, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but from just what I'm watching, it's not fantastic. So I think if he's like cup striker, I don't think they win all four. That's probably, so I'd say treble. They win a treble. So probably FA Cup, Europe, and Premier League.
Yeah, it's hard to go against what you've just said there at the minute. I'll say no to the Champions League. Don't know why. I just think they may come a little bit unstuck, but I certainly think domestically it's hard to see anyone beating them at the minute. So I can expect. I'd be surprised and almost disappointed that they don't have a double come the end of the season, which is quite remarkable considering the change of managerial position in the summer as well. In regards to Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold and Salah, as you mentioned there, they've got their contract situations. What do you think Liverpool should be doing here?
Oh, I mean, you'd have to break your neck to try and keep Salah. He's just a talisman. The problem I think they would have is, like, out of all the players you think that have gone over to Saudi and got these massive contracts, because of his religious background, he speaks the language. I think he's probably one of the most perfect fits. And so he would be like more of a marquee signing than Ronaldo, I think, going over there. Yeah. I've been to Egypt on holiday and things like that. He's everywhere. Like, you can't, he's on billboards and everything. So he would be the biggest draw on that continent. So contractually, like, Liverpool can't compete, obviously. I mean, yeah, it's stupid money. So it's up to Salah. It's not a Liverpool decision. That's what I would say. So I don't think there's anything Liverpool can do unless they win Champions League, unless they win Premier League, unless they actually really start winning. That's probably the only thing that could maybe tempt him. I mean, Van Dijk, again, another one. He'd still get into pretty much any Premier League top 4 team, I'd say. So you'd want to keep him. And Trent, again, I don't think you would keep Trent because the lure of playing at Real Madrid. And apparently he's very good friends with Bellingham. I have no idea, but apparently they get on incredibly well. So whether they've had a word during England games or something and said there's an opportunity to go there. It's Real Madrid, isn't it? Liverpool massive, but Real Madrid are, the jewel in the crown when it comes to European football. So very tough to keep them. I don't know what Liverpool can do. They've got to win everything. They've got to really smash it this season, I think, to have any chance of keeping those.
I think Salah would stay. I think he's been hinting at it, with his interviews, saying, "I've not had a contract offer yet," kind of thing. And when they played Man City, he suggested it might be the last time he plays Man City and stuff. But I think he's wanting a contract offer from Liverpool. He's just not had one yet. And I think if he wanted to go, well, the interesting thing is, coming the 1st of January, he can agree a contract with a Saudi club if he wants to, or just like Trent can with Real Madrid, he can agree a pre-contract from the 1st of January onwards. That's when it's going to get interesting. I think Liverpool, I've got a little bit of an understanding with their contract situations and stuff, because I do tune into some other Liverpool podcasts in that. And the way it is at the minute, Salah's just in a league of his own when it comes to wages. So when you come to negotiate your contract with Liverpool, regardless of who you are, let's just say you were Curtis Jones, it's forget Salah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Van Dijk. That's who you look at. So Salah's got his own wage, and Van Dijk's the second highest paid player. Then every Liverpool player is based off of what Van Dijk earns. So it's a case of Van Dijk's on that, and we're going to give you 85% of what Virgil van Dijk is on, and it's based off the back of that. So I think for that reason, I think they'll get Salah to a new contract, and I think they'll get Van Dijk to a new contract. I think that would be the easiest one to do, the Van Dijk one, because I don't think he'll quite have the mega bucks that Salah and I can only imagine Alexander-Arnold would want as well. So I think Van Dijk, I'd be surprised Van Dijk is not at Liverpool next season. And I think Salah will be too. The problem they've got is Alexander-Arnold, because I think he's going to want more than what Van Dijk's on.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is currently quite a rigid wage structure at that club, which is quite impressive for such a big club as well to have that structure in place. You're going to have to either break it and give Alexander-Arnold what he wants, or you're going to have to stick with it and let him go. And I remember speaking to Neil from the Anfield Way, and he was saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold's a world-class player, but he's not a world-class right-back.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a very interesting way of saying it, really, which is like, he's not the best right-back in the world, but as a talent, he's incredible. But
yeah,
you could possibly replace him as a right back. So I've got a feeling that Trent might not be at Liverpool next season, but I do think Van Dijk and Salah will be. Lastly, Northie, players you admire from Liverpool. Take your pick. Give us a couple.
I mean, there's so many. I like Andy Robertson. And it needs to be weird because I'm not going to go for the big glamour ones, but the players like Andy Robertson who are what I would call the kind of old-fashioned defenders get stuck in. Those tough tackling. Obviously, Scots have a good history of brilliant tackling players. Growing up, when I grew up watching West Ham, Julian Dix was my hero. So out of everybody, it was like I wanted to just go and smash kids. That's smash kids in the playground. I didn't want to say that on a podcast.
No,
don't clip that up. I wanted to go and tackle other kids. For me, I was never a good striker, so I just wanted to go and tackle players. So I've always liked players that are, just get stuck in and give it their all. So a big fan. Curtis Jones, I think he's really good. I mean, that's why I was talking to this Liverpool guy about it. I think he's a really good player. Works hard, gets around everywhere. I mean, at West Ham, you take most of the players, wouldn't you? I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think coming back to the Salah thing as well, I think Kante's on 600 grand a year. So what contract are the Saudis going to throw at Salah? I mean, you put 600,000 a week. You'd probably be looking at about 2 million a week. It'll be something stupid that they could throw at him. It's mental.
Well, they were going to pay Liverpool over 100 million for them, weren't they? That's a transfer fee, never mind the wages. So they've already saved themselves over 100 million by not paying Liverpool to get him. So like you said, they could afford to give him a couple of million a week. And then there's tax benefits for them as well and stuff. So it's just ridiculous. But we'll wait and see. I'll pick out a couple of players that perhaps aren't the big ones. Like you said, Alexis McAllister, I'm a huge fan of him. I loved him when he was at Brighton. And I think he's just a complete midfielder, really. And I thoroughly enjoy watching him play. And while he's got that skill and that vision, he's also got a little bit of the aggression about him as well. He's not timid. He gets stuck in. He's almost not got a weakness, McAllister. And when he went there at Liverpool, first of all, I thought he's a little bit of a slow burner, but I do think he's now just a fantastic player for them. And I thoroughly enjoy watching him play. I think Gravenberch's come on leaps and bounds this season under Slot and become an important player for them. But I quite like seeing Gakpo succeed. I don't know why. I think when he first went to Liverpool, I think he struggled a little bit because he didn't really have his position or have his way of playing at Liverpool. And when he was played through the middle, I didn't really like it. But now he's out there on the left-hand side, and he's improved. Every time I watch Liverpool, he improves. And a bit like when they were against Leicester, then they're losing. They need a goal, and it's just a little bit of brilliance from Gakpo banging it straight back in it. I think he's a top player, but like you said, they've just got talent all over the pitch, front to back, left to right, and on the bench as well. And it's bit envious at how good that Liverpool squad is. Anyway, from their team to our team, would you like some team news, Mark?
Yes.
Quite a bit to get to. So Lucas Paqueta is back and available for selection. He had his 1-game suspension after accumulating 5 yellow cards. So he missed the game against Southampton, so he's available for Lopetegui. However, Thomas Soucek and Guido Rodriguez both picked up their 5th booking of the season, so they are both suspended for this match against Liverpool. Lucas Fabianski is also unavailable, and because we used the concussion substitution for him against Southampton, he is now out for this game. Regardless of how well he is doing, he's unavailable for selection. There's question marks over Carlos Soler. He went off at halftime against Southampton and was limping. But for this preview, Mark, you can include Carlos Soler in your team if you wish to. I think we'll just call it a precautionary substitution. You can have him. And the same with Max Kilman. He went off against Southampton injured. However, it doesn't seem to be anything too serious. So, Mark, you can have Paqueta, you can have Kilman, you can have Soler, but you cannot have Rodriguez, Soucek, and Fabianski. Capiche?
Yes.
So we're missing a few players. So this is the team me and Mark would like to see. There might be different starting 11s. Not the team we think Lopetegui will play against Liverpool. That's usually completely different. So I assume you'd like to see Areola in goal on Sunday?
Yeah, over Wes Fotheringham. Yeah, definitely.
And your defence, top me 3. Who would you like to see in defence?
So I'd go Wan-Bissaka on the right, Todibo, Kilman, and Emerson.
You just don't like Mavropanos, do you?
Although he didn't have a bad game. He wasn't troubled too much, but I don't think he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong actually in the Southampton game. He looked quite assured. That's probably one of his better games. But against the Southampton, I mean that Onuachu, whoever it is, Onuachu, he's awful. He's like Bambi on ice. One of the worst strikers in the Prem. So wasn't really troubled much.
Yeah, I would also play Todibo and Kilman at the back. I think Mavropanos was okay, but I just don't trust him. He's very clumsy. There's at least one big error in him every game. And when you're ready to play Liverpool, I think the last thing you want is a defender that's going to concede either chances or potentially give away penalties. So Todibo and Kilman for me. I'd be tempted to mix it up at the back and put Soufal in and move Wan-Bissaka over and drop Emerson, because I don't think I think he was okay at best against Southampton, but I think he was really bad against Brighton. And obviously with Salah out in that position, I'm not sure I trust Emerson against him. So I'd be really tempted to put Wan-Bissaka in and put him at left back just to handle Salah. And then that would leave Soufal up against Gakpo or Diaz. Now, it might be Diaz because he didn't play a minute against Leicester, so he's rested, if you like. He might go down the middle and like he did in the previous game against Spurs. I don't know what Slot's going to do up front. I don't know, Mark. I'm struggling. No, I'm going to stick with my gut. Soufal right back, Wan-Bissaka left back. I just don't trust Emerson against Salah.
I'm not sure Wan-Bissaka because he does leave a lot of space.
You're not wrong.
That's my worry.
Undecided. I'll stick with my gut. You guys get involved in the comments. Let us know what you would do. Now, moving into midfield, like we said, there's no Soucek and no Rodriguez. So your hand is forced a little bit. But how would you like to line up in midfield?
This is the tough one now. I'm not a fan of Alvarez, but I think we've got to have one defensive-minded midfielder in there. So I'd have him, Soler, Somerville on the left. Yeah. I'm going 4 in midfield. I'm not going 5 in midfield. Okay. I think we should mix it up, which is going to be the controversial thing. And then I'd have Kudus on the right. Oh, no. Yeah, I'd have Kudus on the right.
So you're going 4-4-2 here. So you're going Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left, and Alvarez and Carlos Soler in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
Who are you going up front then? I think I can guess, but
Fulkrug and Bowen. I'd love to see. I mean, we've played 4-5-1 for about the past decade. It feels. It just seems to be the only tactic West Ham seem to play now. And look, if we just sit back, we're going to get battered. We're absolutely going to get battered. I think the last 5 games we've lost 4, drawn 1. Which is the 2 to Upton Park was the only one that draw point we've got in the last 5 games. So let's look. We're going to get battered if we sit back. I think it's going to be another 5-1. So I think if we can take it to Liverpool, let's shock. Why don't we ever surprise a team? Because they know what we're going to do. We just do the same thing. They're going to set up how they set up. Well, let's try and just shake it up a little bit. And I think the Fulkrug was awful. Don't get me wrong. The last 2 games he has been crap. I'm not a big fan, but I wouldn't put Ings and Bowen. And the problem I keep seeing we have at the moment is our wingers are inverted. And so they keep coming in and they're not, so there's no point having a striker. But I think Somerville would go down the wing, cross it in, Fulkrug and Bowen to nick a goal. But yeah, the inverted wingers for us, I'm just not a fan of it. It's not seeming to work too well. Although, I mean, we've had a good run. It feels like we've been on a bad run. We've picked up quite a few points in 8 out the last 12. So we're doing okay, but we've been lucky. I mean, we have been lucky getting these points. We'll take it, but I just think let's try something new. So yeah, I'm going 4-4-2.
The thing is, I think Fulkrug was all right against Southampton. Personally, I think he was winning his fair share of flick-ons. The problem was there was no one in around him, and his flick-ons were going to nobody. They were just landing in space occupied by Southampton defenders. And I think what you're suggesting would get rid of that issue, which is there's no one around him. Having a strike partner for him might be the best thing. But I just don't think this is the right game for it. I think your selection is bold. And I think we're going to struggle in the middle of the pitch anyway. And I think we are going to need 3 players in the middle of the park up against Liverpool's 3. And even with that, there's no combination because of the lack. Even to be fair, even if Rodriguez and Soucek were available, Mark, I don't know what Lopetegui could do, which would do better than what Arne Slot's going to do in midfield. The personnel available just isn't good enough. We don't have a good makeup of a trio of midfielders yet. We've seen different combinations throughout the season. Away to Newcastle was possibly our best one. Salah, Soucek and Alvarez. I thought was it that? I can't remember which 3 it was now. Was it Paqueta, Salah and Soucek? Yeah, it was that 3, weren't it? Mm-hmm. They were good, right? But that was 1 game out of 18 so far. I would go Alvarez in midfield. He has to play. Alvarez has to play. He's going to pick up a yellow card. He's going to get booked. It's just a case of then, unfortunately, you're going to have to sub him. When he does, you're going to have to get him off the pitch because we can't trust him not to get a second yellow card. And he's 1 yellow card away from a suspension as well. So he's going to pick up his 5th yellow card and get suspended. Solar has to play if he's fit because he's the one player that can't get his foot in the ball. Even though Paqueta's back and he's had a rest, I've not seen anything from him to suggest he should play this game. The Brighton game, I thought he was dreadful in. He scored against Bournemouth, good penalty, but I don't think he was great. Like I said, he walks around the pitch like he's a peacock, but the problem is there's no vast array of green and blue feathers. There's like 2 feathers sticking out his arse, and that's about it. But he thinks he's a peacock, but he's missing the display. So I would actually go massive curveball here and put Andy Irving in. And I know it seems wild. Yeah. I know it is, but there's nobody else. It's either that or Lewis Orford. And
Cool Hermé?
Not in the centre of the park. I don't want to see him in there. And I'm all for seeing Orford at some point and giving him an opportunity. I just don't think Liverpool is the right game. Put a youngster in there to chase shadows for 90 minutes. Put Irving in there, who we know little about. I don't know if he can do it at this level, but I feel confident that he will give 100% and get stuck in. And we're going to need to battle on Sunday. And I think I'd put Irving in there, give him his chance, because otherwise we've just got this player who's going to be sat around in the squad for the entire season doing nothing. If he can't get into the team when there's 2 central midfielders suspended and the other one's a doubt,
Yeah.
You ain't ever getting into the team.
It's like the Danny Ings of midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. But look, what we've had so far has not worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Give Irving a chance. We might discover something. Probably not. Tough game. But he's not a kid. He's got a good experience behind him. He's a good age. Just chuck him in and see what he can do. And then further up the pitch, Northie would go Bowen on the right, Somerville on the left, and Kudus up front. I think Fulkrug did all right against Southampton. But I think there's a completely different game when you're up against Nathan Wood and Jan Bednarek to probably Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. I don't think he's going to get a sniff against those. And I don't want to see a slow striker up front against Liverpool. I want pace. And I think Bowen, Kudus and Somerville gives us that, because there has been times in the last couple of games where we've counter-attacked. We're playing 5 at the back at these points now against Brighton and Southampton. We've got Somerville, Bowen and Kudus up front. And we've looked all right on the counter-attack. We have looked like we can be direct and quick. And I think we're going to need that. Leicester showed us on Boxing Day that if you can break quick, you can maybe get situations where it's 3v3 against Liverpool's defence, and it's a case of, can you then do something? Can you be clinical? Because you're not going to get many chances. So the 2 or 3 you do get, can you stick one of them away? So I'd go Bowen, Kudus, and Somerville and pray that we can do something. But it feels a bit slim pickings, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like there's a lot to choose from.
No, we haven't got the depth, have we? And when you look at their team, if you were to put man for man, keeper to striker, I mean, how many West Ham players would get over Liverpool players?
None,
if any. And that's the problem. So I think if we just keep doing what we've always done, I think it could be another 5-1. If we do the same as what we've done, which I expect, I don't think he'll change. I don't think he's going to go bold or radical. So I think it'll be the same. I just think we'll take another spanking, but it's one of those where I think that's expected.
Well, we'll discuss that in just a second. But before we do, just one point in the direction of this video sponsors, Match Bingo. If you would like to add a little bit of entertainment to the game, if you may be dreading this one, you think I need something to look forward to, then you can get involved on Match Bingo, giving you a bingo card for all the action at the London Stadium. 15 events throughout the match that you need. Some of them, it's random, so I don't know what you'll get. We'll all get different things. But you're pretty much guaranteed to get some really simple things to occur. So it might be you need West Ham to have a goal kick, Liverpool to have a corner, Liverpool to score a goal, Liverpool to score a left-footed goal, which is obviously beneficial when they've got Salah. And there's some trickier things on there as well, such as West Ham to have a shot on target. So do get involved. It's only £2 per play, but there is a promotion on for this game. If you buy 4 cards, your 5th card is completely free. Plus, if you're a new customer, you deposit £10, you'll get £10 free credit as well. If you've had Match Bingo in the past, but you've not been on in the last couple of weeks, make sure you update the app. There's new games on there. And next year, what we will be doing in collaboration with Match Bingo is we will be doing a watch-along of the Conference League final in Prague. Myself and Gonzo will be doing it. We'll be doing a watch-along. And Match Bingo will have the West Ham Fiorentina match on their app. So you can get your Match Bingo card and somebody will be winning the full house in that one. So there's £250 up for grabs on the West Ham Liverpool game. So good luck if you're participating. It is a gambling app, so please do gamble responsibly. 18 plus and over to enter. But if you're going to download the app, please use the link in the description below so they know you come from Hamish Chat.
Bingo!
Thank you. eight points in the last 4 games, like you said, Dorothy. Lopetegui's got himself a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, he has. I think he's definitely got the. Well, we said. I always said that you kind of have to give anybody, if they're coming in at the start of the season till Christmas, and he has given himself breathing space. He's still not convinced me. I think the pluses, if you take the pluses, we are attacking more, like attacking chances, or we are conceding a ridiculous amount. So there's still a lot of imbalance throughout the team. But I don't put that all down to Loppe. I mean, when we're looking at the watch-alongs, obviously we do those, and then you're looking at just the simple passes. Like we're struggling to string 3 or 4 passes together, and that's got to be down to these are professional footballers. So I don't know if it's a lack of confidence. It's not always down to tactics and coaching. This is going back to basics. So yes, he gets a bit more time. I don't think he's won anybody over, even though we've had a pretty decent Christmas, pretty decent December. I don't think he's won anyone over. I'm not sure he's the right man. But then who's the right man to take over West Ham? It's a very tough club for anybody to come into. It's not an easy job for anyone to take on. So there's no one around that I think we must have that guy in. He's available. Let's go and get him. That's a problem we have.
I think the win against Southampton was key for him in terms of his job security. I think we got beat by Southampton, I think it would have very much put the target on his back. And then obviously we've got Liverpool, Man City, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Fulham. We've got a difficult January coming up as well. Yeah. And he's showing, I think, Sullivan had a big decision to make between the Wolves game and the Leicester game. And basically you've got one game to prove yourself. He got the win. And since then he's gone on to get a draw away to Bournemouth, a draw at home to Brighton, and a win away to Southampton. So we're beating the teams below us, drawing with those around us, and losing to teams above us. I think Sullivan will accept that for the rest of the season. I think that's what we're going to get. Yeah. So I think Lopetegui, because of the results we picked up in December, I think he can probably get a spanking by Liverpool, and his job's not in any doubt. I think he could get a whoop into Man City as well, and his job still won't be in any doubt. I think he's really bought himself a lot of time with the board because of December. So I think his job's pretty much safe. How we do against Fulham, Palace, and then the FA Cup against Aston Villa may change things a little bit as we get to, into 2025. But for now, I think the recent results, he's just made sure he's going to be in a job at the end of January, I think. Do you have any, even a smidgen, do you have any optimism for this game?
No, I really don't. And looking at the form guide, I mean, they are flying. The confidence is so high. I mean, you're right. We beat Southampton. It wasn't convincing. I mean, they had, how many near misses did they have? It was ridiculous. And actually, Fabianski pulled off a couple of good saves, Ariola as well. So I think on another day, Southampton, like a lot of our wins this season, have been lucky. Newcastle and Ipswich aside, they were the ones I think we deserved to win. Any other point we picked up, even we've not been great. It's been very scrappy, and I just think their balance is so good. They're man for man. They're 11 players better than our 11 players. I don't have any hope, unfortunately. No, I think this is going to be a tough watch along, full of goals, but not for us.
Yeah, I'm the same, unfortunately. Which is, I think how we're feeling sums up West Ham / Lopetegui, because when you've gone 4 games, you've won 2 and drawn 2, your confidence should be increasing bit by bit at least. You should be going into the 5th game thinking, you know what, I fancy us to get something today. Look how well we've done over the last month. But nobody's saying that because we haven't really done well. The results look all right from an outsider's point of view, but the performances ain't matching the results. And I'm actually coming out of, we just beat Southampton. My confidence for the Liverpool game has gone down, despite the fact that we won. I watched the Liverpool's rip Spurs a new one, thinking, oh, hell, because you could see them doing it to our defence as they were doing it to Tottenham's one. And Leicester pushed them. They had to graft against Leicester. But there was only one team in it, and Liverpool were always going to go on and win that game in the end. It was just, a deflection that gave Leicester an early lead at Anfield kind of thing. And I've just got no optimism whatsoever. They're in form at the minute. They've got different players they can pick from it. He wants to rest Alexander-Arnold. That's fine. We're bringing Conor Bradley. We want to rest. We don't want to play Gakpo. That's fine. We're bringing Luis Diaz. Núñez didn't quite do it. That's fine. Jota comes in. Oh, midfield needs a change. Luckily, Szoboszlai is suspended, so they can't. That's one player missing, so that he's forced to go with McAllister and Curtis Jones and Gravenberch probably. Oh no, Violin out for Arne Slot. Yeah, but yeah, it's just not great.
It's funny like any other, like I say, it's a funny season. So even if we were playing City, weirdly you think, well, City can't even beat Everton. Couldn't even beat these other teams. We may have a chance. Or Villa. When I saw that we'd drawn Villa in the cup, you think, bloody hell, Villa are a good side, and he's got them ticking, but they've fallen away. Is there any other team you think we've got a chance? There's a fighter's chance. Liverpool, no chance. I think. Yeah. I mean, if we get anything out of this, I will be mega shocked. I'll say that.
When we've played poorly and got results, I can sometimes be a bit grumpy. Like against Southampton, we won, but it didn't really feel like a win in a weird way. Yeah. However, we get a draw against Liverpool. I don't care how crap we play. I'll be happy. It's one of them. We could have one shot on target all game, draw 1-1. I'll be delighted, and I'm not too fussed about how we play if we get a result against Liverpool. Saying that, can I get any final words from yourself, Northie, plus your all-important score prediction, please?
Again, I know that we've lost 5-1 to them twice in the last 3 games. I'm going to say 5-0. They'll beat us. I don't think we'll score this time, so I think we'll lose 5-0.
I think we'll keep it tighter than that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to a back 5 for this one. It wouldn't shock me if there was a change of formation from Lopetegui, and it's to try and keep a clean sheet. Because often it feels like we're keeping it tight for the first half of games, and that's against teams much lesser than Liverpool. So I wouldn't be surprised if we try that again, but we'll make it very obvious that that's the plan. And whether it be the 3 centre-backs, whether it be Creswell in the back 3 or Soufal dropping into the back 3 or something, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he just changes it, because he's not got Soucek, and put what you think about Soucek to one side. It's quite clear Lopetegui trusts him a lot. He's been ever present in his team all season, and he's popped up with some important goals for him, and he's missing. So he's got a bit of a problem in midfield to sort, and I'm not sure the answer is in another midfielder. So the answer might be that you're going to have to change it tactically in order to accommodate the loss. Who would have thought it? To accommodate the loss of Thomas Soucek, but that may be what Lopetegui will do. So I think we'll lose, and I think it'll be a comfortable victory for Liverpool. And I think we'll try and keep it tight. And I wouldn't even be surprised that if we are losing, we should try and keep it to a damage limitation kind of one. But it's hard not to get the Chelsea game out of our head in the Arsenal one. And although we scored a couple of goals and come back into it, we got ripped apart by Arsenal pretty easily. And I think we're away to play an even better team here. So I'm going to say 3-0 Liverpool, but I think it's going to be the easiest 3-0 that you're going to see in your life. So anyway, there you go. Hopefully you guys at home are feeling a bit more confident. Let us know in the comments below the team that you would play, with a lot of team news for Lopetegui to contend with. Let me know how you're feeling about the game in the comments below as well. If you've enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like on it. It's Northie's first ever match preview in Hammers Chat, so be kind, drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to Hammers Chat, and it's a 5:15 kickoff on Sunday night, so we'll be live at 4:10. So if you're going to the game, enjoy it. If not, pop back here at 4:10 for the build-up show. We'll catch you then.